July 19, 1942. Eastern Front, 47 kilometers southwest of Voronezh. The evening settles over the battlefield like a heavy blanket soaked in smoke and oil. The air is thick, unmoving, poisoned by burning steel and diesel fumes. Obergefreiter Klaus Hartmann sits beside his 5-centimeter Pak-38 anti-tank gun, his uniform smeared with grease and soot, his hands blackened by cordite and engine oil. Around him, 3 German Panzer-IVs burn slowly, their wrecks crackling as metal contracts and fuel lines hiss. The smoke rises lazily into the darkening sky, carrying a smell Hartmann knows too well: burned rubber, scorched earth, and something far worse that he refuses to name. Earlier that day, his unit had fired everything they had at Soviet T-34 tanks. 26 rounds, 26 hopes, 0 penetrations. Not one shell had gone through. The rounds had bounced off the enemy armor like pebbles thrown at a church wall. 4 men from his gun crew were dead now, torn apart by a single accurate shot from the 76mm cannon of a T-34 that had erased their position in seconds. Hartmann survived only because he had been 30 meters away, fetching ammunition. 30 meters, an invisible line between life and death. Now he cleans the barrel of his pack methodically, the motions automatic, drilled into muscle memory. His hands work, but his eyes keep drifting elsewhere. About 50 meters away, partially hidden by a low rise in the ground, stands a destroyed Soviet T-34. It wasn't knocked out by his unit. German Stuka dive bombers had hit it the night before, dropping a 250-kilogram bomb just beside the turret. The tank is burned out, blackened, lifeless, and yet something about it unsettles him. The T-34 was a monster, and every German soldier on the Eastern Front knew it. Introduced shockingly early, built brutally fast, it had overturned everything the Germans thought they knew about armored warfare. 28 tons of steel, powered by a rugged diesel engine producing 500 horsepower. It could reach 54 kilometers per hour, even faster than most German tanks off-road, but speed was not its greatest strength, armor was. Sloped armor. 45 millimeters on the front plate, angled so sharply that its effective thickness nearly doubled. German anti-tank rounds bounced away uselessly. Even heavier German guns struggled to penetrate at ranges beyond 400 meters. And while German crews fought physics and steel, the T-34 fired back its 76mm gun, punching through German armor from distances at which return fire was ineffective. Loss reports were catastrophic. During earlier battles, entire German companies had been wiped out. Crews spoke of T-34s absorbing 8, 10, even 12 direct hits and continuing forward as if nothing had happened. That tank standing out there, burned and silent, had likely killed men before it died. Hartmann finally rises. The pack is clean enough. He should stay where he is. Orders are orders. But curiosity pulls harder than discipline. He wants to see the machine up close, the tank that has killed so many of his comrades. He walks slowly across the churned earth, the ground still warm from the sun. Each step kicks up small clouds of dust. 200 meters. 100, 50. The T-34 grows larger, more real, no longer a legend but an object of steel and scars. He reaches it and places his hand on the armor. It's still warm, even after 24 hours. The surface is rough, pitted, coated with soot and burned metal. Hartmann circles the tank carefully, studying it. On the front plate, he counts at least 7 German impact marks, all deflected, all failures. Then, as he moves along the left side, something catches his eye. He stops, bends closer. At the junction where the side armor meets the turret ring, there is a weld seam. Nothing unusual. Every tank has welds. But this one looks different. Hartmann can't explain it at first. He kneels, pulls his field knife, and scrapes away the charred residue. The weld is uneven, not cracked offset. The armor plates do not overlap perfectly. The turret ring itself is thinner than the main armor. Hartmann estimates quickly, 45 millimeters on the side plate, but right here, perhaps 35, maybe less. And unlike the sloped frontal armor, this section is almost vertical. His pulse quickens. 35 millimeters of flat armor, thinner than the roof of some German tanks. Could a 5-centimeter pack shell penetrate that? At what distance? Ballistic tables flash through his mind. At 500 meters, the Pak-38 could penetrate around 50 millimeters of homogeneous armor. At 400 meters, even more. If this weakness was real, if it existed on all T-34s, then this wasn't just damage, it was design. Hartmann stands abruptly and starts running back toward the German line. He has to tell someone, he has to find his commander. Captain Steiner, immediately. Steiner is standing with several officers, bent over a map. Hartmann stops short, breathless. One does not interrupt a captain lightly. But Steiner looks up, sees Hartmann's expression, and knows something is different. Hartmann speaks quickly, urgently. He explains what he saw, a weak point, a structural flaw. One officer laughs outright, a weak spot on a T-34, impossible. But Steiner knows Hartmann, has known him since France. Knows he is not prone to fantasies. Steiner folds the map slowly. Show me. Together they walk back through the deepening dusk. Artillery rumbles distantly. The sky burns dark red at the horizon. At the tank, Hartmann points to the weld seam and explains. Steiner kneels, pulls out a lighter, and illuminates the steel. He studies it for a long time. Too long, Hartmann says nothing. Finally, Steiner stands. His face is calm, but his eyes are sharp. If you're right, he says quietly, this could save hundreds of lives. He pauses. We tested at first light.